Yeah, so I'm out here on my Specialized Diverge. Newer bike, just got it. I got it as a companion bike to my gravel bike. I currently am running a Specialized Crux. I found that on the Crux, I was in rougher and rougher territory, rougher and rougher roads, and I was like, hey, maybe I could do with like a Diverge, something that's a little bit more compliant and smoother on these rougher roads. That was kind of the intention. If you want to see my full review of my Crux, there's a link in the description. I actually love the Crux. It's one of my favorite bikes. I use it for everything. The goal today is just to talk through like why I got this bike and kind of where it fits in my quiver of bikes, what I'm hoping it does for me. I'm going to put together a longer term review of this bike after I've ridden it for a while and kind of my thoughts on it. Today is more just why I bought it and what I hope it does for me. So look, I just want to ride bikes and tell you guys what they're like to ride. So the more people that subscribe, the easier it is for me to do that. So if you hit that subscribe button, it would be awesome. Again, this is a newer channel. This is not my full-time job. It's something I do for fun. I enjoy riding bikes. I'm not a pro. This bike specifically is the Specialized Diverge Comp. It's the 2024 model. It comes with the GRX system. Comes with the 100 millimeters shock. You don't get the swap box on it. It's a great entry-level spec. I think if you were getting started into gravel, this would be a great place to start. You're not going to spend a fortune on it and be able to take it everywhere. It comes with slightly wider tires than my Crux does. So my Crux has 38s. This has 42s, which are slightly wider. That should help with the comfort level as well. I found that as I was out riding on the Crux, really starting to enjoy gravel riding, I was like, hey, maybe this would be even more enjoyable if I had a dedicated gravel bike. Something with a tiny bit of suspension just to make the road a little bit smoother, save my hands from all of the vibrations and all of that. And that's kind of what led me to get a Specialized Diverge. We will see long term if I keep this bike or what I do with it. Again, this is just literally my first ride on it, so no opinions of it yet. I'm hoping that this bike still allows me to ride on the paved roads, but then at the same time, I can take even rougher trails than I was on the Crux. And I don't mean necessarily rougher from like a jumps and that kind of perspective or anything like that. The biggest weakness on the Crux is just that it's incredibly stiff. So on like chattery roads, your hands and your wrists really feel it. Like going fast at speed on the dirt, the Crux is a stiff bike. This has a little bit of travel just to remove that vibration edge at high speeds. I'm assuming on rough descents, it's still going to be a similar experience of, the rear end is stiff and losing traction and things like that. The idea is just to make it a little bit more comfortable than my Crux. We'll see what the trade-offs are for making it more comfortable, what I lose on this bike versus my Crux, but that was the idea. The best gravel bike is going to be like a super cross-country mountain bike. That's going to be the most comfortable, right? There's no disputing that. Like the pros and all that, they ride cross-country bikes with drop bars. That's fine. What I want is something that I can ride out my front door, road to dirt, to road, back to my house, and that just does all of those things really well. I find a super cross-country mountain bike is just no fun to ride, zero fun to ride on the road. So trying to mix those two categories and say, hey, what can I find that works well on the road, as well as really comfortable on the dirt and on the gravel roads. So we'll see if this does the job long term, but that's kind of my thought process on it and what I want this bike to do for me. I don't have any expectations that this will be as good as my Crux on the road. I guess the one advantage I have is because of this GRX system, I do have a lot more gearing, so I can pedal up to, 30, 35 miles an hour, which you can't do on the other bike, but definitely not a road bike. It's comfortable though on the road. Yeah, so that was my first ride on the Specialized Diverge. Again, the goal with this bike is to companion my Specialized Crux, be something that can go a little bit more on the rougher trails. Very first ride, so no opinions of it yet. We'll see how it goes long term, if I keep it or not, but that was the idea, just something that was a little bit more gravel focused, something that would work better on rougher surfaces and just remove that little bit of rough trail from the ride. The Crux is a great bike. It is a very stiff bike, and you do notice that on longer rides, especially on longer dirt rides. So seeing if this Diverge will remove a little bit of that edge while still performing great on the road and everywhere else that I ride it. One minor thing I will say, the head tube angle is a little bit more on this bike, so the no-handed is really easy. It stays pointed straight, exactly where you want it.